Today we continue with our class Shabbos Home, and this session and all of them should be dedicated to Refuah Shlema of our dear Rabbi Yaron Shlita. His name is Yaron Ben Doris. Also to Refuah Shlema Yehudis Bas Noach, Ariel Ora Bas Anna, Yimim Rasi Rachel Bas Brindel, and David Shlomo Ben Sandra. Also quick release of our dear friend Moshe Shmuel Ben Pnina. BeEzrat HaShem. Okay. So we continue today with our class Shabbos Home, and we're in chapter 15, very interesting topic, sowing. As we said, there are many things actually involved in this melacha. It's not only sowing, meaning in the classic understanding of sowing, just putting a seed in the ground. Okay, so number 2. So one second, let me just quickly see what was number 1. So we were talking about just to remind us. So we were talking about two kinds of flower pots. One with a hole, perforated flower pot, and then we said it's not necessarily should be a hole, even a crack, even right, or it could be even as we said a wooden flower pot or earthenware, meaning that the porous that root can go through, right? It can get sustenance from the air. Okay, from the ground, not from there, from the ground. Okay, perforated, not perforated. So we will also discuss the changing position of the perforated flower pot, meaning from the pavement into the soil, right, from inside to outside, stuff like that. Okay, so next one. Promoting growth, watering plants. Okay, so the actual addressing is what? It's 3 types, right? Initiating growth. Okay, and number 2 is promoting growth, watering plants, and number 3 is protecting growth. So, water. Watering live plants, trees, bushes, etc. is considered zereya. So zereya is sowing, because it promotes plants' growth. So, like if you think about it without learning it, it does not make sense. Like sowing, sowing has to do with watering. Right, but it's actually like the big idea, if you think about it, promoting growth. So meaning when we put a plant into the ground, you promote growth. And same if you have something like flowers, vegetables, whatever you have, bushes, trees, you have already growing in the ground. You water them, you promote growth. It's exactly the same idea. No contradiction. Watering plants is forbidden, even if the intent is not to water the plant. For example, one is forbidden to wash one's hands over the grass, even though it is not one's intent to promote growth of the grass. Since the water falling on the grass inevitably promotes the growth, the act of washing is forbidden under the rule of psikresha. Right, psikresha is a translation is inevitable consequence, which causes the otherwise permitted act to be forbidden because of its inevitable result. Let's try to understand what it says here. Let me just remove it. I forgot to remove it. Okay. So we said water. So watering, right, is in a normal way, right, is like you take a water hose, right, and you water, or you have a sprinkle system. With a sprinkle system, it's a little different. It's a little different since it is automated, usually on a timer. It is, meaning all days you had to like open out the faucet, but now it's all on a timer. So if everybody knows, like in most of the places, like it's on it, nobody's going to suspect another his neighbor that he just opened the water. He turned on the sprinkler system. So technically, if we preset this before Shabbat, there is no problem. Okay. So, but if people usually don't do that, what does it mean? Maybe in northern territories. So maybe they don't need such a lot of water, but in the southern, like in Los Angeles or something, like in Arizona or something, for sure in these places you need to water every day. Otherwise, they're going to die. Okay. All right. So meaning everybody have a timer. Okay. So again, watering plants is forbidden, even if intent not to water plants. So meaning a person cannot wash their hands like over the grass or over other things. Or if person like even do my machranim, right? We had several clips about my machranim, and there are more coming. BeEzrat HaShem. So and it's proper to wash as we learn in Kaveh Yashar, right? We learn together in Kaveh Yashar to wash them in a vessel, because this water should go to Sitra Achra on one hand. But on the other hand, if you don't have a vessel for whatever reason, and you want to wash from disposable cup, so we said wash where people don't walk. Right, because if a pregnant woman would step on it, it can cause a miscarriage, which is, as we understand, nobody wants to be a cause of this terrible disaster. So they say if you don't have any other choice, wash, let the water spill under the table, and nobody wash it, nobody walk it, right? But here is a problem, yeah, under the table. But if you have like somewhere you eating outside, have a backyard, or you're somewhere on in a camp, or I don't know, somewhere, what is it, bungalow colony, right? It would be an issue. You cannot wash there. Yes, it's not your intention to water the grass, but that's what it is. It is inevitable. So as we said, psikresha, I remind you that it's a concept from the Talmud, when a person said, I want to cut the head of the chicken to give my child to play that, but I don't want chicken to die. Okay, whatever you think is very interesting, but it's not going to work out so well. Right, so meaning in this case, the action that is permissible, right? We are allowed to wash our hands, but on Shabbos, but since it's going to bring to prohibit results, so it is inevitably, right? Then it is forbidden. Next one, B, other types of liquids. So water, we understand, but some liquids, as we understand, not good for the plants. Other liquids other than water a liquid other than water will cause plants to grow. Therefore, it is forbidden to pour any liquid, for example, apple juice soda, right, into the grass growing plant, etc. Urinated on growing plants is permitted because urine does not promote growth. Okay, so especially the sugary drinks, for sure, it's going to be good for a growth of these plants. Coca-Cola, I'm not sure. Maybe it's going to kill. I'm not sure, right? But sure, this apple juice soda, right? A lot of sugar there, for sure. But urine is actually kills. The way I understand it, kills the plants. Okay. Okay. So continue. The next one. So meaning there are different kinds of liquids. Some allowed, some not allowed. And same if you have liquid, I don't know, some drain cleaning liquid or some, I don't know, some which is for sure it's not good for the plants. So of course it would be allowed. Maybe it's muktzah, but it's a different story. C. Putting cut flowers into water. Right. So now that's the case that famous example that we discussed before. Somebody comes to you, you invited people, and you say, please, but don't cook anything. Yes, the candle lighting is 7:15. I'm just making up time, right? 7:15. Please come at 8. Is 8 a reasonable time? Maybe 8:15. Right, and that's it. So we're going to celebrate. But please don't cook anything after the candlelight. Don't buy anything. Cook, of course, not. But and people say, okay, of course. and they try to follow your instructions, and they bring the flowers, and you told them, please don't bring anything, just come and you be nice and you being sincere. And me personally, I was sincere. I said, please don't bring anything. We have, we bought wine, we made cake, this and that. So maybe it's not wine that you're to your perfect likings. Like maybe in the cake, maybe you prefer other cake. But basically, so right. So it's still there is wine, it's still a cake. So don't bring things. But some people listen, and some people think that they know better, and they would come to you when it's for sure Shabbos, and they would bring these flowers. Okay, so our topic is now back to this. I mean, we just continue, same topic. Putting cut flowers into water. Flowers and grass cut from their roots are not living or growing plants. So, as we said before, the prohibition is promote growth. So here you don't promote growing because it's dying. You just slowing down the dying process. Okay. So theoretically, okay. Therefore, one does not transgress the Torah prohibition of Zereah. So Zereah is sowing, right? By placing flour into water on Shabbos. So again, if you think about logically, it's easy and simple for us to understand. It does not promote growth because it's not going to grow. It's done. However, there are rabbinic prohibitions that prohibit placing flowers in the water on Shabbos. Okay. So, but rabbis saw in their holy vision that it's going to send the wrong message to people. Okay. So, what is it? Prohibitions. The sage prohibited placing flour in or grass. I'm not sure why he's saying grass. I mean, grass maybe when you buy bouquet of flowers, they do give you some the greenery, which is not flowers. Maybe that's why he's saying grass. That's my guess. Okay. The sage prohibit placing flowers or grass in water on Shabbos for two reasons. Number one, placing flowers whose bloom is not completely open, right? Bloom's not completely open, in the water causes them to open. Although causing bloom to open is not strictly speaking considered planting, the sages prohibit doing this because of resemble planting. Okay, so before we continue, let's try to understand the first reason. So placing flowers in whose bloom is not completely open. So me personally, right? My wife, God bless her, told me how to choose the flowers, and sometimes they try. I mean, unknowingly, they put in like in the first row the flowers, but there is no leaves. So my wife told me if there is no leaves, that's it. They broke the leaves, meaning the flowers is not fresh. They look fresh, but they're not. So you go for the leaves. Right, and then you buy something that is more close. So more close meaning that it's going to stay for the whole week. Sometimes 2 or 3 weeks they stand, right? Okay, so you buy something more close. If it's open completely, right, it's not going to stay very long. Okay, so now usually when you put in a flower in a vase. In a Friday morning, right? That's where we buy flowers. Friday morning, then it's going to open on Shabbos, 100%, right? 100% is going to open. Maybe not all of the flowers, but most of them will open, and that's the issue, right? If you do it on Shabbos, it is the issue. Why? Because of course it's not right. It's not promoting growth, like it's not planting, but it looks like planting. So when you plant something somewhere and then you water it, right? So water that plant and then it starts blooming, it starts like opening. So that's the problem. Resemblance issue. Again, since it were cut from the source of growth, there is no issue, but resembles the problem. Number 2, filling the vase with water on Shabbos involve undue tircha, exhaustion, which is forbidden on Shabbos. The sages forbade activities that involve unnecessary or excessive tircha, exhaustion, because they detract from the order of Shabbos and because they resemble weekday activities. We actually spoke many times before, and there were different questions, not related questions, but I mean related to Shabbos question. And the question either this or that allowed. And for example, are you allowed to jog, right, on a treadmill? Let's say you have treadmill like mechanical, nothing else is going to turn like that, no electricity, right? Or you want to go on a bike or something, right? So what is the problem in a house, right? Right, and or a power walk. Some people like the power walk, also a problem. Or another example we said is what is carrying the furniture. Are you allowed? Is the furniture considered to be muktzah? No, right? So if you need a couch to move next to your table because you don't have enough chairs for all of your guests, there is no problem, you can move, right? But last time you moved your couch 17 years ago when you bought it, okay, so now it's going to be second time. There's no problem, it's not muktzah. Maybe you're going to have find a lot of dust behind it, but that's a different story, right? So it doesn't, right? But the problem is that it involves exhaustion. So if you need for the sake of the mitzvah, yes, they would allow, but just to move the couch for no reason, it would not be allowed. Just to power walk because we want to keep in shape, absolutely, that's what we forbidden. So or play basketball, okay, if you want to play with your little kid and you want to throw the ball and you have a closed backyard or front yard or something, or there is an air, okay, that's some leniency. But for adults to go play ball, that's the problem. That's the problem of exhaustion. People are going to get wet, right, from perspire, right, from playing. So that's absolutely forbidden. And of course, I'm giving you a big example, but the even smaller example. To fill in waste with the water is involved undue exhaustion. So how come? I'm going to tell you how come. Usually the vases, they're not the good ones. They're very heavy, right? Very heavy. Why? So you can put in them like tall flowers, and they not going to knock the vase down. So if it would be too light, from a plastic or something, it would fall on either side. But if they're from thick glass or some thick metal or some other material, some earthenware, some other material very heavy, that's a different story. So, and if it's heavy by itself and then you put extra water and flour, for sure it's going to be heavy, right? So that's why filling the waste is a problem. Okay, that's very interesting. So the word is tircha. Okay, so continue. The following are therefore forbidden. Number one, filling the vase with water. It is forbidden to fill vase with water on Shabbos, even if one only wants to put in flowers that completely open. Filling the vase in itself is prohibited act. So it's not only not recommended, it's itself prohibited act, and now it was spelled out. Right? It was spelled out in our books that it says prohibited act. Okay, no problem. Okay, just one second, completely open. Right, and he said even if flowers completely open, so meaning there is no resemblance of planting whatsoever. Right, you're not going to add anything; it's completely open. That's it. Okay. Number two, adding water to a vase. One is forbidden to add water to vase on Shabbos. However, one is permitted to add water to vase on Yom Tov. For example, if one lulavs hadassim and aravas, right, are in a pail of water, adding additional water may be added on Yom Tov. Okay, so let's step back. Adding water to a vase. So meaning some flower they drink or consume a lot of water. So even I see you see the level when we first put the flowers in the water, what like this, then half of it is left, right? Some of them take more water, some of them less water. So I'm not an expert, but for sure I saw it many times. Right, that it takes water, and sometimes a person wants to preserve the flowers and add more water, which is forbidden on Shabbos, but not forbidden on Yom Tov. So on Yom Tov, some people don't put this four species. Not four, nobody puts four species, but at least we put Arabas and Hadassim. At least those two for sure we put in the water. Lulav, nobody. I mean, maybe some people do. I'm not sure. But usually the lulav that we buy, like it's so fresh that even even a few weeks after Yom Tov, it's still fresh. There's no problem. But maybe in some climates you need to put it in water. We never do. Okay, but Arabas and Hadassim for sure we put right in the water. So meaning on Shabbos, even on Shabbos on Yom Tov, since it is a Yom Tov need. So on Shabbos it is a muksa. We don't shake these things on Shabbos, but on Yom Tov it is not muksa. So you take them to shul and then you do halal with them and you shake them in appropriate places, stuff like that. Yeah. So since they are not muksa, so you can take care for them, do whatever you need to do. So right, I think we said it in our class laws of Yom Tov. For sure we said it. Right, that you're allowed to add water. Continue. Number 3, putting flowers that are not completely open into vase containing water. So meaning now it's a third possibility, meaning the water was in a vase, for example, you expected, or maybe another issue, another situation, like an example. Example would be that the flower was there, and she filled the vase with the flower, and then forgot to put it, and then she lit the candles and she look at how the flowers is here, and then the vase with water is there. Okay, so it's possible. Okay, so again, situation, there is water in the flower, but the flowers were not completely open. Okay, flowers that not completely open may not be put into vase of water on Shabbos because it's resembled planting. So meaning it resembles as you do something like a positive act. Okay. So it was closed, now it's open. Okay, so that's the problem. So D, next one. Putting flowers that are completely open in a vase containing water. So that's as we understand should be the most lenient case. The water is there, right? It's your action is not going to change anything in appearance of the flowers, right? Because they're going to stay open, right? So is it allowed or not? There is dispute among the authorities whether one may put flowers that are completely open on Shabbos into the vase filled with water before Shabbos. Some poskim rule that it is permitted, since neither of the above mentioned prohibition apply. Right? Since the flowers are completely open, placing them in the water does not resemble planting, and since the vase was filled prior to Shabbos, there is no undue exhaustion on Shabbos. Just take flowers, put it in water. Okay. So far, so good. Nevertheless, some poskim rule that even in this situation, one should not place the flowers into the water for the first reason. Okay. Therefore, it is preferable to place even open flowers in a water-filled vase prior to Shabbos. Okay. If one forgot to put the open flowers into the vase prior to Shabbos, he may rely on poskim who permit putting open flowers on Shabbos into the vase filled with water before Shabbos. Putting completely open flowers into the water-filled vase on Shabbos is permitted according to all opinions. Putting completely open flowers back into the water, into water-filled vase on Shabbos permitted according to all opinions. Okay, so let's go back and try to understand. So now, as we said, we're working with the most lenient case. The water is there, and she just forgot to put the flowers. So I would say it depends on the flowers. some flowers, I don't know the names of it, but I know how they look. So some of the flowers, they always open, right? Look, at least they looks like open, but some of them, like roses, other things, other flowers, that tulips, or they close and they can open, so you can see clearly. So usually when you just buy from the store, usually they're not completely open. Usually, if they just bought from the store. So, or they would close, even they were open, but now they've been stained without water. Most likely they would be closed, most likely, but it depends. So we're looking at it like the perfect scenario where they're completely open. So, and as we said, there are two different opinions, right? So let's quickly read and explain. There is dispute among the authorities whether one may put flowers that completely open on Shabbos, right, open on Shabbos, into the vase filled with water before Shabbos. Okay, so water was there, she just forgot to put them the flowers. Okay, some poskim rule that it is permitted, since neither of the above mentioned prohibition apply. Okay, so since neither of the above mentioned prohibition apply, right? So meaning there is no exhaustion, right? To put in the water, and it's not resemble the planting. Okay. Nevertheless, some poskim rule that even this situation, one should not place the flower in the water for the first time. So meaning even in this case, if they were not, so there is other poskim that looks rules stringently. If the flowers were not there in water, don't put them. Okay. Therefore, it is preferable place even the open flowers in the water, water-filled vase prior Shabbos. That's a proper way to do things. So I mean, if you buy flowers early enough in the day, so for sure, they're not going to stay without water for a long time. But if a person brought the flowers, I don't know, like 20 minutes before the candle lighting, and there is a lot of things to do in preparation for Shabbat, so like it's possible that the family can forget to do that. Right? I mean, it's possible. If, however, one forgot to put the open flowers into the vase, so again, we're talking about open flowers, prior to Shabbos, he may rely on the poskim who permits putting the flowers on Shabbos. Okay. So meaning, since, as we always say, in a case of great need, if we have a lenient opinion, we can always follow it, especially if you have guests. And now they're going to get embarrassed. So, but in all of the cases that we have, people brought us roses. It's always a problem because most of them are closed, right? So it was problematic to put them in the vase. Okay, even though you told them 3 times, or right, just repeat. Please don't bring anything. So I mean, I'm going to list what not to bring. I said don't bring anything, please. Okay. Continue. Right. Okay. But according to all of the opinion, if the flowers were completely open, right, you can put them back in a vase, right? Like if somebody take them out, I don't know, maybe to smell them, I don't know, for whatever reason, and now we wanted to put them back, there is no problem, right? Again, because they were there before Shabbos. Okay, so continue. Placing Arba Minim into water. So Arba Minim is for species, right? Well, these 4 species that we take on what is it on Sukkos, the Vase. Had one student, and he said that's not how you pronounce this word. How you pronounce Vase. Okay, I said we here where we live we pronounce as Vase, but he was from Europe. They pronounce it Vase. Okay, no problem. Similarly, it is forbidden to place lulav, hadassim, and aravas in the water on Yom Tov. right, on Yom Tov, one should place them in water prior to Yom Tov, so that he will be permitted to remove them and replace them in the water on Yom Tov. In the event that one forgot to place them in the water before Yom Tov, one may rely on the Paskim who permit placing open flowers into the vase that was filled before Yom Tov. Okay, so let's do it again. And on Yom Tov, as we said, we use this Arba Minim for sure. Right, so it is forbidden. So it says it is forbidden to put this, let's say, what is it, Chadasim in Aravim, Lulav, on the Yom Tov for the first time. But usually when, once you buy all of the species, you have to preserve them. So of course you bought them before Yom Tov, like 2 days, 3 days before Yom Tov. So what we learned, some people, they go very last day to go get good prices. Why good price? Because if it's only 3 hours before Yom Tov, 4 hours, these people won't want to sell, right? Of course, there's some people would buy on Yom Tov. It's very minimum amount, right? So majority of the people would buy this thing before Yom Tov and use for a holiday. That's it. They're not going to buy a second set. So these people are ready to sell for any price. So what we learned, where we live, if you go and try to buy 2 days before Yom Tov, it's late. That's it. So I mean, there are many things, but the best were already taken. Right, for the same amount, it's not a matter of price, it's a matter of choices. There are many choices, but the best looking, they're gone basically. So few years we learned this lesson. We try to go as early as possible to buy them, as early as possible. Right. So okay. So you buy what I'm trying to say. You buy as early as possible, as I say. So you put them in water. You have to preserve them for 3-4 days. Before the Yom Tov starts, for sure you put in the water. So when the Yom Tov starts, they've been in the water. There is no problem. So what I'm trying to say, maybe if a person just bought it I don't know, 3 hours before the Yom Tov starts, 2 hours, that's a problem. Okay. Right, and one should place them in the water prior to Yom Tov, so that he will be permitted to remove them and replace them in the water on Yom Tov. Meaning after the use, put them back for the next day of Yom Tov. In the event that one forgot to place them into water before Yom Tov, he may rely on a poskim who permit the placing open flowers into a vase that filled with water on Yom Tov. So again, if he had this vase filled with water but forgot to place it, no problem. Since there is no flower, it's Arba is what? Arba is willow, right? These willow branches, and Hadasim is what is Hadasim? Hadasim is some palm branches, right? Some kind of palm branches. So meaning there's no flowers. They always open. They're green. So meaning we can rely if needed. Again, if needed, on this authorities who said you can do that. Let me just quickly see. Oh, that's a long story. So I think we can stop here. Cover a lot. Right, we'll do 5 minutes break and continue with the other topics. Today we have a story night. 5 minutes.